What's up, people? I'm heading out. It's Saturday. It's a nice warm December Saturday. I'm going to hit up a couple of places. We're going to hit up a gun shop slash range here real quick, but not to shoot there. Just need to, well, I haven't been there in a while. I want to see if they have anything I got to have. Hey, you know, it happens. But I realized I didn't have any 380 ammo, and I may want to shoot that today, but primarily I'm going to go and shoot all of my 9s. Right now I'm just planning on putting 25 through each 9 and possibly getting it done fairly quickly and just seeing how I do with all of them. That would include my Walther PBS M2, the Taurus G2C, that new Taurus, that TH9 I bought, and my Canik TP9 SA. Possibly be able to do a head-to-head with those two as well in the very near future. So great day. It's an okay day. It's a me day for sure. We're gonna have some fun. All right, usually I start with my carry guns when I go to the range just because they're smaller, and technically I guess they should be a little harder to be accurate with. The Walther PPS M2 may be an exception though. It is a very accurate gun. Slim design, single stack, 6 or 7 plus 1 capacity. This would be very comparable to a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm, although the Shield has a little bit better capacity. But when I went out looking for a gun, I was looking for a Shield at the time, another carry gun, and they were out of stock on new ones. They did have a used one, but for the money, this was right in the same range price-wise. So I decided to give it a shot per the clerk's his recommendation. And it's been a great gun. I don't know that I'll hold on to it forever because I still kind of have my eye on a Shield, but I've had it for about 6 months now. One of my easiest guns to shoot, very accurate. If I'm off on it, it's usually vertically, it's not side to side. Holds very well, great grip, and generally speaking, I've been very, very happy with it. The only safety on it per se is the trigger safety, a trigger blade. That could be a drawback for some people. Next up is the Taurus G2C. This, I have mentioned before, the first gun I ever bought was a Taurus PT-111. I did hold on to that one for 7 or 8 months. That's what I learned how to shoot on. And when I was ready to move on, I picked up a couple of guns already by the time I was ready to move on. Just to get something else, I traded it out and I kind of missed it. I ended up picking up the G2C when that was released, and I don't think I'm going to get rid of it now. G2C is pretty much the same gun as a PT-111. Just a couple very subtle differences, mostly in the trigger locking mechanism that the former model had. This has some pros and cons. Basically, the trigger on it isn't bad overall. It is a very long pull and can be a little bit gritty, but when it snaps well, and the reset on this is a very short reset. Took some getting used to, but yeah, when I'm on with it, I'm very good. I don't think I was very good this particular day. It's a double stack, two 12-round magazines are standard with it, and on this particular day I had an extended mag, a third-party company actually, if you will, a 15-rounder. But you know, it's got some great features for the money. It does have a thumb safety as well as the trigger safety. It does have a top chamber indicator if your gun's loaded and you're not sure. And the rear sights are fully adjustable, which is kind of unusual for a gun at this price point as well. They're not great sights, but you can get them zeroed in, and it's, you know, it's a really good gun for the money. I'm glad I picked it up again. I don't think I'll get rid of it anytime soon. It's been extremely reliable. Both versions of this gun, the 111 and this G2C, have been very reliable as well. Is it going to compete? I've seen some comparisons to the SIG P365. I haven't shot that, but I don't think it compares really. Now on to the full-size guns. One of my full-size 9s is the Canik TP9 SA by Century Arms. This is a striker-fired 9mm, 17 plus 1 capacity is standard. There is a 20-round factory magazine that's available, which I have purchased to keep it loaded all the time. Why did I pick this gun? Well, when I went out looking for this, I wanted a full-size 9mm gun because my 1911 45 was pretty expensive to shoot. So I went to one range and tried several guns, got some ideas of what I wanted. The price points weren't super good. I went to a sporting goods store and talked to a guy who pointed this gun out, pointed out the price point. I felt it felt pretty good, and it also felt like a couple of guns I had just shot. So I found another range that did have one to shoot, and that sold it for me. I shot a different version. I think I shot the SF version of this gun. But what's there to like about it? Well, it basically, by most theories, is a borrowed design from the Walther P99, which was an excellent gun in its day. The Walther PPQ, which was another one I shot in this process, is a later version of that. It also feels very much like an H&K Heckler Koch VP9. Now, the VP9 probably has the best trigger of any gun I've ever shot, personally, but this has an excellent trigger as well. Pretty smooth, if not butter lard. No, it's very, very smooth. Trigger safety is really the only safety this has on it, but again, it does have a top decocker, which is kind of unique. The P99 had that as well, but it's a decocker on the top of the gun. Not really necessary with single action, but so be it. It also has a rear loaded chamber indicator. But very accurate gun as well. If there's one quirk with it, is that it does print slightly low. You have to, once you get adjusted to that, it's fine. You can hit over and over again right where you're aiming. But it does print a little bit low, and fixed sighting on it as well. I do believe you can change that out. To this point, I've seen no need to do that. Very enjoyable gun to shoot, very easy gun to shoot, and one of my favorites that I've owned so far. I should clarify that the SA stands for single action. There's an SF version of this and an SFX, which is kind of a competition version. All right, on to the next one. This is another full-sized pistol, 9mm, the Taurus TH9. This is the latest addition to my collection. A hammer-fired, full-size 9mm. It is the later version of the Taurus PT809, which I had seen several reviews on. It looked like an excellent gun for the money. Very good reviews on that. And this came out, I think it was February or March of 2018. They started to roll in. I'd seen several versions of the TH9C, the compact version of this, that would come with a 13 or 17 round magazine, and roughly the size of a PT111 or G2C. In fact, with the extended mag I have on my G2C, it's about the same length of handle on it, but I wanted another full size, have enough compacts, and looked for this gun, ran into it a couple times this summer at gun shops, and then they disappeared. Saw it a couple times at gun shows, and then the last gun show I went to, we had 2 or 3 dealers that had the compacts, but I only found one that had the full size. Decided to pull the trigger at that point, and I'm pretty glad I did. Now, what sets this gun apart again is the fully ambidextrous design, meaning it has a slide release, thumb safety, thumb decocker, which is the same mechanism, is on both sides of the gun. It also has fixed sights. I've been really impressed with the accuracy of this gun out of the box. I cleaned it really good for the first time after the second 100 rounds I put through it, just to see if everything was good with it, and it was. If I have a complaint so far, the finish on the slide, I've already got a scratch on it. I don't know where the heck it came from. But for the money, this is roughly being the same price point as the Canik, I guess. Maybe a little cheaper. The Canik you can find for $400 or less. This was probably $350 or less. Very accurate gun. No other accessories you can find for it yet, but I love it so far. I did manage to break out one of my 380s. This is my Llama 380, also known as the Micro Max in some circles. It is a true Micro 1911 design. Very steel frame, very heavy gun, very easy to handle. Disappointing day on this gun, though. I bought a magazine for it, which are very difficult to find. This is an older version. The newer version is called the Micro Max. But I bought a magazine for $40, and it was crap. So I did manage to get about 16 rounds through it. It was my problem child for the day. Overall, it's a fun gun to shoot, very accurate. Rear sights are fully adjustable on it. Again, very easy to handle just because of its weight. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for a senior, though. It can fly around in your hand with it if you're not careful. But with 2 hands on it, it's as accurate as pretty much everything I've had. an older design, older gun that I got pretty cheap. So just kind of a fun gun that I have.
Well, not bad. I'm getting ready to go get my targets out there. I did well with the big 9s. Did well with all the 9s, really. Other than the G2C, it seems I did worse. But disappointment on the 380. My Llama, the new mag I bought, which looked like it was pretty much brand new, jammed up, couldn't use that. Ran one mag through it and didn't even have time to do the LCP. So a little disappointed about that, but that's okay. I'll look at it next time around, and we'll catch you here in a moment.